Chapter 23. My progress the next morning is even greater as I wake up and get off the cot by myself, with minimal strain and pain. I stand at the edge of the forest for a moment, appreciating my accomplishment, which seems so minor, but is really quite the feat. It's still early. The dark glow of night has yet to fade, and Rebirth's air is heavy with people swimming in dreams. Except for Gavin. His blanket is empty, as usual, a prompt start in whatever he runs off to do each day. I sneak a look at Liam, who is sleeping peacefully on the cot behind Gavin's. One arm is tucked behind his head, and the other is resting on his chest while the shadow of a smile dances on his lips. He is usually up hours before me, but I'm sure he's exhausted after the work he did last night. While most of Rebirth was eating dinner, Liam and several other men practiced training exercises. At one point, he shed his shirt, dripping in sweat, revealing a chiseled chest and abs that left several of the women whistling and applauding. He either didn't hear them or ignored their calls because he showed no reaction. Marlena tried to shush the women but was laughing with them while calling them hornballs. I didn't ask what that meant, but I could guess. I'm still learning the words they throw around so freely here. Despite most of them coming from Impetus, they've created their own language since joining Rebirth. Shuffling to get used to walking on my own again, I tread into the center to see if Marlena is awake. But there isn't anyone stirring yet. I walk to the training center to survey the equipment the guys were using last night, and pick up one of the heavy wooden blocks they use as dumbbells. Marlena's amazing carving skills are proven by the slick and flawless wood. Gavin mentioned that once we find a more permanent spot for Rebirth, Marlena will be essential in leading the building of structures. She has a skill that can contribute to the community. I am still trying to find my role. I no longer want to be the hurt patient that can't do anything on her own. That thought is cut short by the ache in my wrist from holding the heavy dumbbell. I set it down quickly. The weakness of my body is still a hindrance, but I'll heal and get stronger over time. I'm determined. I have to rescue Jacqueline and the others from Impetus, and need all the strength I can get. I grab grapes and berries from the storage hut and limp back to my cot. On the way, I notice a new hut sitting just off the main path, behind the two closest to the road. Someone must have assembled this yesterday. I walk closer to it, careful to keep my footsteps quiet to not wake anyone sleeping inside the other huts. Waxy palm leaves welcome me as the breeze lifts the edges off the top of the doorway. The entrance is wide open, with no curtain yet, so I poke my head in to verify it's empty. I drag my hand along the caked mud, admiring its smoothness and how sturdy it all feels, despite being much more natural than the concrete buildings I am used to in Impetus. This hut is unique, with its circle design, unlike the square shape of the others. I like it. It makes me feel more protected, and has no resemblance to the glass box that haunts my nightmares. The only piece of furniture is a small wooden table in the middle, with a glass of water holding 3 Lenten roses. They are beautiful, sitting alone in the room, the only source of color. I stare at them and imagine them swaying in the silence, happy to be alive, grateful to be a part of this room that feels so peaceful and safe. Do you like it? A voice interrupts my thoughts. Liam is standing in the doorway, his eyes masked by sleep still, as though he woke up only seconds ago. I glance around the room once more. It's different from all the others, I respond, letting my head bob up and down in its own answer. It's yours, he discloses. This is my hut? I ask, but somehow I already knew, with the way my soul connected with it. Yeah, it is. You didn't think we'd have you sleeping out in the woods forever, did you? This hut wasn't here yesterday morning, I'm sure of it. The only time I saw Liam was first thing in the morning, and for a short time while eating dinner. "Liam, did you make this for me?" "I had help," he replies sheepishly. "I didn't finish until late last night, and you were already fast asleep, so I had to wait to show it to you. I should have known you'd find it first. We always gravitate toward the things that are meant for us." "I can't believe you would spend all day making me my own hut." I hadn't considered having one. So far, I had taken my healing and focus one day at a time. I had yet to consider I am now a member of Rebirth. This hut represents my new life. The life that I spent 18 years wondering about has been decided. However, this time, it was mostly decided by me. This is my home. This is where I will live. And Liam put all of his energy into making sure this hut was something I like. "How did you know I'd prefer the circular format? Or that Lenten roses are my favorite flower?" I ask, amazed that he got everything I could have wanted right despite only just meeting me. "It's not hard to figure you out, Evangeline," he says softly. "Your eyes go to what your mind is on. I've seen the way you get nervous in spaces that look like a box. I've seen your eyes dance when you stare at these flowers." He shuffles his feet and rubs the back of his neck. "My favorite, though, is when your eyes land on me." The floor must have collapsed because my knees weaken as though I'm falling to the ground. A part of me likes he is observant of me. The other half is embarrassed he can read me so well. Our eyes connect and stay fused together from a distance. I am fixated by his eyes. They captivated me the first day I saw him and continue to have the same effect. There is a fire burning in them this time, and a passion I only had a brief glance of while watching him train last night. Liam breaks the silence by asking, "Would you like to have breakfast with me? And if you're up for it afterward, maybe take a walk?" His question makes me want to scream, "Yes!" But I try hard to hold it all inside and instead let my smile speak. "I'd like that." Liam returns my smile with his. "Good. Stay here, and I'll be right back." When Liam leaves, I feel so giddy. That has to be the best way to describe it. Even when Remedy was blocking it, Liam's touch still gave me goosebumps. There is something about him I want to explore. He excites me, and I want to know more about him. "It would be called a crush," Jacqueline's words remind me. While in level 16, we were in our beds one night long after the door had locked and the lights were out, sensing that the other had yet to fall asleep. Jacqueline had spent most of the day with Ethan, which left me more time to spend with Gavin. "It's interesting you are content spending so much time with your imaginary friend," she had commented in such a way it was clear she was hoping I'd divulge more. It was one of the first times I realized she knew more than she let on about my extended absences during the day. She never quite shook her imaginary friend curiosity. "It's interesting you've chosen to spend more time with Ethan than any other person since we were little," she responded. I heard her body shift in bed as she changed positions. "In the before, it would be called a crush. Madeline told me that. I don't know where she read it, but it's so peculiar. She wouldn't be smart enough to come up with it on her own." "A crush," I repeated, letting the word roll off my tongue, wondering if Gavin knew that term. Maybe I could teach him something for once. I'm not sure I'd like to know someone had a crush on me. Sounds like I should run away from them, not to them. I had remembered an ounce of a feeling remaining from one of my dreams once. Heartbroken. The term was all I could think about until Remedy diluted the emotion again. Maybe it comes from liking someone so much that the weight crushes your heart. A crush can cause you to be heartbroken. They're related. It makes sense. I knew I was onto something. The before was one messed up place. Jacqueline's words were faint as she fell asleep. But I had stayed up long after, thinking about the term, wondering if I could have felt something like that with Gavin, if I could feel at all. Now that I can, now that I'm in tune with my emotions, it's obvious Liam is the object of my interest. A crush. That's what this is. Unlike Marlena's hut, mine doesn't have a mirror yet. I have no clue what I look like and if my appearance is acceptable. Unfortunately, by the time I shuffle over to her hut and back, Liam will be left wondering where I'm at. I also can't risk having Marlena join our breakfast. I want this alone time with Liam. Hopefully I don't look too disheveled. I lick my hands and use them to pat down my hair and then take my shirt to my face to dry wash it. When Liam returns, his hands are full with a blanket and a plate filled with bread, sausage, and a variety of fruit. He places the food on the table and puts a blanket on the floor. "After you," he grins, while holding his arm out so I can ease myself to the floor. I give my best effort at a curtsy and use his arm to balance as I carefully sit down on the blanket and find a position that's the most comfortable. Liam grabs the plate from the table and sits down across from me, placing it in the middle. A nervous tension fills the air. Neither one of us is looking at each other or touching the food. Paralyzed silence. My stomach is performing somersaults. I can't tell if it's because I'm hungry or because of how quickly everything just changed. Okay, this will sound random and maybe too straightforward, but I need to know. Liam clears his throat. Are you and Gavin not a pairing, but a couple? What? I choke out, finally looking at him. I didn't expect Gavin to be the center of our conversation this morning. The tips of Liam's ears are red and he's pulling at the collar of his t-shirt. Well, he's so protective of you. He's brought many people in, but he doesn't treat them like he treats you. Even Marlena said something about it the other day. And I like Gavin. He's done a lot for me. I don't want to cross any lines with him. Like sitting here with you. So sitting with me is wrong, but building me this hut is acceptable? I say teasingly to break the uncomfortable pressure. Liam's eyes meet mine, and a shy grin creeps on his face. Well, that was a need versus, My mind drifts back to yesterday when I was with Gavin. He looked like he would kiss me, but didn't. I wanted him to. But I don't know if it was for the sake of experiencing it or because it's him. Sitting here with Liam, every nerve is pulsating, reminding me how alive I am. I want to kiss him. I don't want to wait for him to do it. I want to take the action in my hands and kiss him. It's a different feeling than it is with Gavin. With Liam, I'm always excited and energized. With Gavin, I feel frustrated so often that I don't even know what to do. I'm always waiting for him to tell me something or do something. Nothing feels completed. But I don't have to wait with Liam. He moves toward me like I move toward him. Maybe it's like what he said about the hut. We always gravitate toward the things that are meant for us. Breakfast is a need, I counter before realizing this is exactly how Gavin responds to all my questions. I hate it when he answers this way. He's rubbed off on me more than I care to admit. Liam chuckles. Okay, I give. You've made your point. Hey, I say, and wait for his eyes to connect with mine. I need to answer my way, not Gavin's way. No, Gavin and I aren't anything. Friends, that's all. Good friends. My heart thumps against my chest, and I can't tell if it's a hop of freedom by that statement, or if it's throwing shattered pieces at my chest. I try not to focus on what it means. I'm with Liam. I want this to be my main concern right now. Instantly, Liam lightens, the grin now in full bloom on his face. He reaches over to the plate and pops a grape in his mouth.
So, let me tell you about the new little woodland insect I met yesterday that attacked me when I tried stealing its berries.
Liam is quite the comedic storyteller, which comes as a surprise. I laugh nonstop as he energetically shares his experiences of searching for supplies and feeling the touch of certain things, like the giant caterpillar he found once, and a broken eggshell left over from some animal. He tells me about the first time he took a bath, and 3 other grown men ended up in the pond too.
It's awkward because now there's shame and embarrassment and competition with all these emotions. So each of us are exaggerating the fact that we aren't looking at another guy, but there isn't any doubt we're all scoping each other out to see who is stronger or bigger.
I snort, which causes me to cough and almost choke on a berry. Bigger? Liam shrugs.
Muscles, obviously.
Through all the laughter, which may be more than I've done in a lifetime, I keep thinking how in this hut, I'm witnessing a secret side of Liam. He's typically serious, focused, and hard-working when out in rebirth. I would have even called him shy. But in this hut, with mostly closed walls, he is open, sweet, and funny, and I am the only one privy to it. I wasn't sure if he would open up to me again after his moment of vulnerability at the pond, but he's proving he trusts me. I could listen to him all day. I'm not sure how long we sit on this floor in my new home and talk. My visual memories will last longer than the ones of everything I hear. Our fingers graze each other's as we reach for various pieces of breakfast in front of us. At one point in the middle of a story he's telling, he stops talking long enough to reach out and brush a strand of hair out of my face. Without thinking about it, I put my hand on his to emphasize a point I'm stating. Then I lose track of what I say because all I can think is, my hand is on his hand. My hand is on his hand. I am in awe how something so simple can be so thrilling. Nate interrupts us by popping his head in the doorway to say,
Liam, I've been searching everywhere for you. We gotta go.
I want to throw anything I can grab at Nate and tell him to take a hike, but I bite my tongue. I am relieved to see Liam looks equally disappointed.
Sorry, Evangeline. We're on duty today to search for and restock supplies. Time must have gotten away from me. Rain check on the walk?
Yes, for sure. Liam stands up and brushes off his pants.
Thanks for an amazing breakfast. Do you need help getting up?
Since I plan on melting on the floor as soon as he leaves, I just smile and give a shake of my head. I don't want to open my mouth for fear of begging him not to go. Instead, I watch him follow Nate out the door. My happiness high quickly declines to a low when I feel an emptiness from his absence. I push myself up on my feet and gather the blanket when I hear,
Hey, Evangeline?
I turn around. Liam is standing in the doorway.
How's tomorrow morning for breakfast again? Are you free?
Yes, without a doubt, yes, I say more quickly than I would have preferred. Liam flashes me a smile that lights up the dark hut.
Good. See you soon.
He is out the door again. Covering my mouth with the blanket, I let out a muffled squeal. I didn't think I was capable of a noise like that. Excitement is pumping through me like a raging river. Then a somber thought claws through. These are the moments I would be missing if I were still in Impetus. Impetus looks cold and calloused now, with being on the outside, like robots moving about, not people. Except they are people. We all are people. We should be able to feel and not forced to be numb. That's not what living life is about. Rage drips in, mixing with the waves of happiness, poisoning them bit by bit. It's not fair that there's an entire community of people living without knowing what we, as humans, are actually capable of, with the power of feeling emotions and sensations so strongly. All we learned about in the before were the dangers. We didn't learn about the good emotions. The highs make the lows worth it, and there's an incredible balance taking place that renders every bit of who we are made to be make sense. Impetus is trying to shape people into minds without hearts. There's a reason we were born with both. Impetus needs to be stopped. I never understood my purpose in life before. Now, I feel like I have one, and I will carry it through.